Well, he's gonna...
This is an informative speech by Brittany Comparato.
Do you know of a woman who was nicknamed the Ugly Duckling, married her fifth cousin, was given away at her wedding by the president, could only cook scrambled eggs, and who played varsity field hockey? Actually, you do. Her name is Eleanor Roosevelt, and she was one of the most outspoken and influential women to ever live in the White House. First Lady, writer, and humanitarian, she was born Anna Eleanor Roosevelt in 1884. She was known as being shy, a little odd-looking, and had quite an unhappy childhood due to the passing of both of her parents before her 10th birthday. She lived with her grandmother, and when she became a teenager, she attended a finishing school in England called Allenswood. It is here that she learned to become more open, outspoken, and she made first team at varsity field hockey, a day she later regarded as the single happiest day of her entire life. When she returned to the United States, she met Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who happened to be her fifth cousin, whom she later married in 1905. Because her father had passed away years before, she was given away at her wedding by her uncle Theodore Roosevelt, who just so happened to be the President of the United States at the time. She and Franklin had 6 children, but one of them passed away in infancy. Eleanor's marriage to Franklin brought her into the world of politics, which later proved to be the perfect environment for her. In 1921, Franklin suffered a severe polio attack, which left him crippled, so Eleanor stepped forward to help him with his political career. He became governor of New York in 1929 and president of the United States shortly after. He served as president from 1933 to 1945, the longest term to ever be held by a president. Eleanor drastically changed the role of First Lady during her tenure. She regularly held press conferences, she delivered speeches on her husband's behalf, and she wrote a daily column called My Day, which kept the public up to date on White House policies. She also wrote numerous columns in different magazines and newspapers on women's issues, voting, as well as books on her life experiences. She also she spoke for the welfare of youth and persuaded her husband to create the National Youth Administration, which provided financial aid to students and job training to young men and women. She stood against racial discrimination and worked closely with the NAACP, and during World War II, she traveled abroad to visit U.S. troops. She also made monetary contributions to a collection of organizations, one including the Women's Trade Union League, which worked for fair wages and work hours. She even co-owned a furniture factory which employed local jobless workers during the Great Depression. Eleanor accomplished many things for her people, and although she was greatly praised for the different things that she made public by using the mass media, she was also heavily criticized. Political enemies stated she was neither elected nor appointed to carry out such tasks as they related to the American people, and others scoffed at her travels, stating she should stay home and take care of her husband and children. But Eleanor ignored the objections and continued to achieve her goals while acting as her husband's eyes and ears due to his limited mobility. Sadly, Franklin passed away in 1945, and Eleanor afterwards stated to the public that her political career was over. However, from 1945 to 1953, she served as a delegate to the United Nations General Assembly and became chair of the United Nations Human Rights Commission and helped to write the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a feat she later considered her greatest achievement. Afterwards, she laid off the politics a bit, and she continued to write books on her life and experiences, and again returned to politics in 1961 when President John F. Kennedy appointed her as a delegate to the United Nations again, and also a chair to the Commission on the Status of Women. Unfortunately, Eleanor was diagnosed with and lived with aplastic anemia and tuberculosis for the last 2 years of her life. It's very difficult to sum up such an extraordinary woman's life in just a few paragraphs. She truly was a great humanitarian and a wonderful person. She touched many lives, and she advanced her country with her generous spirit and her dedication. And although she passed away in 1962, her memory still lives on. Thank you. All right, we're done here.